All righty, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Hello!
He's back.
Good.
It's been a long time.
It seems like
Yep.
it's been a while. We missed the last
A
scheduled
while.
a few scheduled games ago. So, and I
Feels
know
like-
you missed the last one, so it was even longer for you, Austin. So,
It happens.
all right. So we are super excited to bring you Planeshifters, episode 9. I am your dungeon master, Justin, aka Total Dumas. I am the host of the Crit Academy Dungeons and Dragons talk show. Please, if you like D&D, you want some inspiration or just some ideas for characters or monsters, please come and give us a follow. You can head on over to YouTube at youtube.com/c/Crit Academy and check us out. We're live every Sunday at 7 p.m. I am super excited for this week's episode. Somebody went out of his way and got suckered into that scam that is the 3 books of D&D for the new Monsters of the Multiverse. Because, who doesn't need to buy 2 books they already have?
Right. I feel that.
Yeah.
But so I'm excited. We'll be covering that this Sunday. So
They
make
look
sure you
really
come by.
pretty, though.
They do, and I love some of the changes. But
Some.
anyways, some of the changes. I know there's going to be a lot of hoopla about some of the very specific changes, but I'm excited. Once again, welcome here to Planeshifters. We got a really exciting game tonight. If you like the more nuanced politicking and political intrigue style stuff. We've recently been doing a lot of the more straightforward, battling the dragon, for instance. It's going to be a little bit of a different night. I do want to take a moment to thank all my players for showing up. You guys are awesome. Couldn't do it without you.
D&D is a multiplayer game, usually.
Yeah.
And one more thing I want to touch on before we get right into it is we have recently been experimenting with a new stream style called Clash of Classes, where we pit players against each other, and instead of going through the traditional narration, it's more like a esport or a WWF style show. So please consider checking that. Our next one is going to air February 10th at 8 p.m. So please come and join us, or head on over and watch the 3 other episodes that have just been blowing up our YouTube channel. So,
And
how about we?
overall, the feedback has been pretty good.
Yes, and we're constantly improving. So if you got ideas, watch, let us know. So how about our players introduce themselves? Will, why don't you go first, boss?
Yeah, I am Will. Not playing Echo this round, but actually
So
playing
baffling to me. Just
Remiel.
Nice.
Angel.
Very cool.
yeah, you don't want to give me too much information. I
yeah,
gotta
we
not
wanna-
know. That's the problem.
Matthew.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and for this portion of this stream, I am going to be playing as Ethereal, and that's all I can say without blowing Austin's mind.
Yeah, I'm really worried here, guys.
It should be.
I am.
worry.
Don't worry.
Should be.
I am Ian, co-host of Craig Heavy. Normally I play Merle, but today I am playing Nathaniel.
Ooh. And last but certainly not least,
Hey guys, I'm Austin. It's been a while. Sorry, I've been gone for so long.
happened?
I'm playing Zorax, the fallen Azamar, so I'm sure they're all probably looking at me a very particular way, being a fallen version of all of them. And I'm playing a Voidwalker Paladin, so hopefully they're looking at me with some less contempt. Hopefully.
for sure.
We'll see what happens, though.
All right, so how about we get into it? Zorax, you were carried off by an entourage of angels from the Boros Legion. They haven't been rough with you.
Much.
They
Surprising.
haven't put you in bindings or anything.
Even
But
more surprising.
They haven't spoke much to you since you've arrived at the Boros Hall. The Boros Hall is the epitome of what a defensive militaristic castle fortress would look like, except on a much more massive scale. And the more
Fortress of Fortresses.
What's that?
Got it.
Ravnica's Fortress of Fortresses.
Yes.
Oh, so this is like the big Ravnican big old castle. Got it. I'm in a city, but it's actually just one giant fort.
Yeah, and it's got these torches and sconces and stuff that just kind of fill out every little rook of this fortress that constantly radiate. And when I say fires and sconces, I mean they're big braziers, right? They're huge. These fires can be seen from a mile away. They swoop you in and lead you into this large antechamber. And the angels, they're radiating this glow, and they kind of look at you with a little bit of hesitation,
Unease?
maybe.
Okay.
Yes, unease.
Okay.
They haven't done anything hostile towards you, but you can tell that you make them uncomfortable, or maybe you're misconstruing it, and maybe they have some sort of contempt for you. It's hard to say. They're pretty tight-lipped. One of the angels approaches and says, "How can you explain to us how is Zorax feeling right now? You're in this room. You're surrounded by a half a dozen of these angels with golden white wings and brilliant red and gold armor."
Zorax is, while he's very while a large portion of his emotion is just like he's just like being like he feels spiteful and hateful at the moment because he's like it's all of these things that kind of like control power over me, and that's like I didn't have the choice to be here. They just pretty much yoinked me to be here. Or at least that's how he interprets it.
Mm-hmm.
But he also like, even though he doesn't like feel fear necessarily, but there's just so much like caution around him where he's like, I feel like any of these things could just obliterate me in a moment's notice, essentially, and they could choose to kill me if they wanted to, and I don't think I could do much about it. So he's just kind of like, as much as he knows that he's in this like as he's trying to like stifle down that hatred and anger, because he's like he knows like the minute he slips is the minute he dies. So he's like, well, I don't want to die here, so I better stay as on my best behavior as I can for the moment.
He's trying so hard.
So as several of the angels kind of start exiting the room, they fold their wings down. Their wings don't fold like behind them like you would expect. Instead, some of them wrap themselves in it, and they're walking almost as if it's like a cloak wrapped around their front and tucked up underneath it. And most of them, half of them leave, but there are several that stop, and one of them turns to you, and you think it has a slender build, so you think it might be female, but it's hard to tell. The armor and stuff makes it near impossible to tell, and the voice is echoey and reverberates a strong voice, but not necessarily one you can discern. And it looks down on you and says,
how tall are they, by the way? Like how?
I mean, I would say they're medium, but they're more like Goliath size, right?
Okay.
So they're not large, but they're bigger than regular people, I guess. Think,
I have to look up
right?
to them. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has to look up to Shaq. Shaq's
everyone still looks up to them like this. Got it. All right.
And it says to you with this deep voice, it says, "Corrupted one who has fallen from grace. The guild master wishes to speak with you, her and her war council. Do you have any questions before you meet with them?"
No,
Spit it out.
not really. No questions.
That's
Just
probably
take me
for
to
the
them.
best. You may refer to me as Lavina.
Hmm.
Takes a deep breath. Your stink fills our chambers. Hopefully your stay will be short. And with that, she walks out, and the others kind of follow her, and this big stone door just kind of, and you're left in this room for a moment, kind of in what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And the wait continues. You're left there. You start to kind of get uneasy. There, nobody comes and sees you for a few hours.
I would start suspecting an ambush. Even though he's like, these are graceful warriors, so I don't presume they wouldn't fight me in non-honorable combat. However,
Right.
I am also a blight to their kind, so...
So after a few hours pass, you're doing whatever you can to keep yourself occupied. You spend a little bit of time talking to your new blade, and she mentions, or it mentions, something about the wonderful warmth that has been drawing her since you became in the presence of these people.
Hmm.
Warmth indeed.
Ah, yes, the holy flame, something I lack.
And she says, "Why do they make me warm? Compared to you, it's like the sun shining in the middle of a blizzard. I can feel the warmth, but I am surrounded by cold. Why is that?"
It's because I am not like them. Because I have done some unfortunate deeds in my life. But that's because I am mortal and I live in the fact that I am mortal. Unlike these beings who live forever and see right and wrong in such black and white ways. That light is fake in my eyes.
The sound of the door opens. The stone doors open with a loud, and it slides open, and Lavina walks in, and she says, "Come with me."
If I
And
want
she
to live.
no, they're not. They've done nothing to show you that they're actively hostile towards you. They're just indifferent at the moment.
Yeah.
But
I
yes,
lagged right
get
there too, so I
the
hope my
Terminator.
one-liner went
It was
through, but...
Lavina T9000.
Yeah, I was like, ah, yes.
It's funny.
He just
so,
gets up, he's like, here we go.
as you begin walking out, the door opens to a big circular chamber, and then along that circle are these different rooms, and you're in one of these rooms. As you step out, she unfurls and spreads her wings and jumps into the sky and flies up. Do you follow?
Man, I'm just lagging all over the place. I look up, and then I look down at the floor, and I look back up, and I say, how am I supposed to get up there?
You not. Your spark. I see. You have truly fallen then, haven't you?
Well, seeing as I was never able to fly since the day I was born, I'm unsure if I was, had this capabilities to begin with.
A pale imitation, to be sure. Her eyes flare and a golden light surrounds you, and you gain the benefits of the fly spell. She says, "Follow me." And you hear inside, "So warm."
He reluctantly follows.
And she kind of swerves in and out through this big complex structure. You see hundreds or just dozens and dozens and dozens of these Boros Legion members of all varieties. The traditional hammer fist logo on all on their helmets. You see some that are wearing robes using magic. You see others mostly wearing armor, carrying a myriad of different weapons. This is clearly and you've already experienced this a little bit, but it's a very well-run military force, and the structure of this building and the way it's laid out, the mess hall that you pass, all really captures the feel of a big barracks, albeit ginormous.
Right.
So she says, after a few minutes of flying, you come to the top of this tower, and in the tower there is a massive doorway, but there's not a door on it. It's like a shimmering field.
Okay.
And she kind of just ushers you in, and as you look, you see this entire tower is just a giant white column that just you realize now is like the pillar center of, if it could be called the center of this entire Boros Legion. And she ushers you in with a inside.
He steps on through the field. Do I feel any different?
You have felt teleportation magic before.
So I'm being teleported.
This isn't uncommon. And after a moment of this kind of trembling in your soul, you end up standing in front of a big circular, almost like a small stadium. I don't want to say stadium. Stadium is too big. Think of it as like a small stadium that's circular, right? You've got all these different Boros members, and then sitting on hovering thrones are these multitude of 5 angels. One you recognize immediately with the golden or the copper red hair and red wings is Aurelia, who was the one that is leading them, and you have identified as the guild master. And there are 4 others.
That's the one I fear the most. Got it.
What does let me get rid of this thing. Auremiel, describe your character. What does Zorax see?
So, Auremiel wears blue and gold robes. He keeps his wings tucked tightly behind him, and always kind of has a glance at everything in the room, kind of very aware of everything going on around him. He doesn't really look at you right away, but then when he does look at you, you can see an intense stare.
Like I'm being analyzed?
Oh, very much so.
Okay. As long as
Your
I
eyes-
have the idea.
Your eyes dart over to another. Matthew, describe ethereal, or however you want to pronounce it. Makes no difference to me.
You see a middle-aged looking figure whose long hair and wings are of a silver white color, but you also notice that his eyes are of the same color. And you see him sitting appropriately on his throne, but you notice that every other second his right pointer finger is tapping, like there is some sort of like it's some sort of fidget of his.
He's ready to get this show over with. Got it.
Well, to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure none of us want to be here. Just seeing some blight of angel kind in the middle of a room. So, you know. All right.
And lastly, Ian?
When you look at Nathaniel, you see a figure who seems ageless, if you will, with what seems to be a shaved head. The skin seems to be made out of like a cast iron in appearance, but it seems to have like a slight red gold sheen to it, with glowing golden eyes. And
Scary.
seems to be wearing what seems to be black armor, but with like a slight red glow coming from the seams. And his black wings like drape along his back, almost like a cloak.
This one sounds the most intimidating.
You can't decide if he's staring at you with contempt, or if that's just what his face looks like.
Got it.
And then the fourth angel, seated, has double sets of wings. 2 going from her shoulder that arc up, and then 2 from her lower back that arc down. This golden white, she's wearing a set of high quality Boros breastplate and armor, and has a hilt attached to her side with no blade.
Alarming.
And Aurelia says, War Leaders. I gotta give her a little more voice than the other angel. War Leaders, this council has begun. Scribe, Razio, ensure that notes are taken. Zorax of Elturel, do you know why it is that we have summoned you here this day?
No.
Well, clearly those of Elturel are not as intelligent. No, what's his word? Are not as clever as I would have expected. Let me ask you something, Zorax, and to all of my council. What kind of a threat does those who can transport an entire city into an enemy's territory with ease pose to any organization? Now, I know that you have been judged as innocent, but that does not make the threat of what you're capable of something to be ignored. My children, the Boros, they are here to defend and protect. We are the standing army of Ravnica. Thus, we must be always ready for war and threats from any place, inside and out. So, Zorax, myself and my war leaders, and she points to each of you, have come to determine what is the next step to deal with the potential threat that comes with somebody who has the power of the gods and can shift entire cities from one plane to another.
I guess my first question is, why would you suspect me, of all people, to have that power alone?
You are mistaken. We have not chosen you to be the one to speak because that you have control. We have chosen you because we know that the seed of darkness is within you, which means you can be leveraged. And you might be willing to see the benefits of both sides. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah.
War
Yeah.
Council, what are your thoughts on this planeswalking technology, which was once thought to be that of only the realm of the gods? Here stands before you not one mortal, but an entire city with this power. And I say to you, I would hear your words.
I would like to speak.
Aurelia, please.
Zorax, you have acted ignorant thus far. You have. Don't play dumb. We know
Spicy.
you know more than what you tell us. How was this city of yours shifted into our plane?
From powers like yours. From that of an angel. But not I. I don't have the knowledge nor the power.
Don't
You're
lie
doing
to us.
again.
Angels don't have such a power.
It wasn't an angel alone, but he enabled it.
This is what I'm talking about with you. Your vague responses are erring on ignorance. You act like you know nothing, but you do.
Ithuriel raises his hand towards Aremiel. Perhaps that is the limitation of his knowledge. Perhaps there are others who would have more knowledge than he does.
Ethereal, you would have me believe that one of the ambassadors of the city that shifted to Ravnica would be this uninformed?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to fairly ask the question. There is no harm in simply asking.
So then, Zorax, who is the one that can show us this power and how to use it?
I don't think the power can be replicated, but I know who at least casted it, if that makes sense.
Cannot be replicated. Are you not trying to get home?
We
to
are
your own realm?
We are trying to get home, but if we could just do it, why would we be here? Why
A
would
fair
we want
statement.
to be here?
You just implied that you can't control it, if I
Perhaps,
am understanding you correctly.
perhaps it was a mere stroke of luck that they came here.
Nathaniel, I would hear your words on this case.
Perhaps it would be more simple if we just simply have the aberration describe the events that transpired that brought them here.
Yes,
An excellent point.
I agree with this assessment. Zorax?
So, if you want to know the end of how we got here, you'll have to know what happened in the beginning, or else it wouldn't make any sense. Because then you're going to ask a different question, and I'm going to have to answer that one. So let me take it a step back a little bit further. So the city of Elturel once lived in the Forgotten Realms, as you are, I'm sure,
What
aware.
a silly name.
If
you are there, how is it forgotten?
I
He
digress.
seems to forget a lot.
Do we not forget about the realm?
I don't know if you meant that, Nathaniel, but that is hilarious. Just want to point that out there.
I failed to
Razi,
think it
her
further in my statement.
wings buff it and says, "Enough games. Answer Her Majesty." Or sorry, answer the Master. She's not royalty.
But the point is Elturel was invaded by another realm known as Avernus. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Avernus, but it is essentially hell, by all accounts.
So there's a world of demons and devils that can reach other planes.
Well, one in specific, and that name was Zariel, a fallen angel, who had ripped an entire place to a completely different plane of existence.
And this place was Elturel.
Correct.
So, war leaders, we have now, from one short discussion, learned not only do these Elturel mortals have access to other planes of existence, but hellish beasts and monsters do as well. Clearly, we are in the right in seeking this technology.
And who knows what beasts you brought through with you that we have not discovered yet? You say you came from a realm similar to hell?
Indeed.
How are we supposed to believe that our city is safe even when we feel safe right now?
You're never safe. That's just the way reality as itself is. I had my entire home ripped from me. I had to worry about my wife. Could you believe I have one? Probably not, but that's okay. And I was just doing my orderly thing, just being a guardsman of all things, and then suddenly I'm also fighting demons and devils in hell. So, yeah, we're not safe. Nobody is. No one ever will be. That's just the way it is.
War leaders, this is why I have told you. This is technology, magics that we must possess for ourselves.
The cat's purring into the mic.
She's adorable, I know.
That was cute.
It was so hard to resist that.
Sorry.
We already experience threats from other planeswalkers, near gods who can come and go as they please. But this knowledge, this magics, this technology, if they can start bringing entire planes of existence, invasions can come in moments. Threats can come to the likes that none of our guild masters could handle, not even the guild pact himself. So I say to you, war leaders, what should we do? I forget myself. Zorax, continue.
So, after Elturel had been ripped from its own plane of existence into a hellish landscape, we had, because you don't know what device or magics we have used to get out, after a lot of tribulations and errors, unfortunately, we had discovered that Zariel, a once angel who had fell from grace, had owned the realm, essentially, posing as a godly being. And thankfully, we were able to rip this construct apart that housed another angel. This one had not fallen, it had been stuck there for who knows how long. They said hundreds of years, I believe. And after that angel was free, and after we had pushed Elturel out of an entire river, we had very little options. So, with many people offering whatever magical energy or capabilities they had, we had initiated some form of plane shift spell with a catalyst, that being the Angel. It was supposed to bring us back to our own realm of existence. It did not, and thus we are here.
I see.
And only
War
one
leaders.
of us had the capability of this magic, and unfortunately I seem to have forgotten his name, because I'd never talked to him.
Described
leaders.
as being who seemed to possess said magic.
He was insane. He talked about an outhouse every day. I don't understand. Why is he able to control these things? I don't know, but he can. I never caught his
You
name.
jest with me.
I don't! Why would I lie to you about this? It's the only knowledge I have of him. He looks like he doesn't blink for days. I don't know if he sleeps.
All right.
Was that a jab at this character or something?
Yes.
No,
yes,
I mean
it
that's what he does. That's the only characteristics I can remember. Talked about his
So
granite outhouse that never sleeps, and he's insane.
So my understanding of your testimony is that had your planeswalking ritual been truly succeeded, you would not have landed yourselves in the middle of one of Ravnica's districts. Is this correct?
Correct.
So in
What are
other
you
words,
implying,
you are here to see
Zariel?
erratic machinations of a madman.
One more time. I don't know from which of you. You both started speaking.
In other words, from your perspective, you are here due to the erratic nature of a madman.
Putting it lightly, yes.
Was it a spur of the moment situation with this casting?
Kind of. I mean, it was the plan, but the moment we were brought into was not the most perfect, we'll say.
I'm still a little unclear on how all of this spell worked to transport you all. Were there components to it? Was it everyone casting a plane shifting spell all at once? How did this happen?
I feel like I need to roll a history check.
But if you don't know something offhand, you just want to fill it in, go ahead. Can do that at any point.
I believe, from what I remember, the angel had helped. There was a red gemstone used as a sort of physical catalyst, I suppose. And then I believe everybody in Elturel had supposedly given some form of their essence, in it, as far as I can tell,
Actual
to
energy?
perhaps in order to kind of supposed to set us back to where we needed to be, but unfortunately we landed here. And you all call us planeswalkers, but truthfully, a planeswalker sounds more mythological than you give us credit for.
She says, Aurelia kind of, puts her hand on her chin and starts to think. She turns to her war leaders, specifically turns to Razia and says, "Does this sound familiar to you?" And she says, "Well, if I had to guess, the spell must have required some sort of focal point, and depending on the focal point and where it came from, it's possible that it sent them to, yes, I would say that a special object attuned to a specific plane of existence might likely be the failure here. But I can only speculate, Mistress. She says, fair enough. So, war leaders, I have assembled you because we have to decide what is best for protecting Ravnica. So I would hear your thoughts on the subject, how we should pursue forward.
The
Well,
dangers of shifting universes is already a concern for us when planeswalkers of great power can freely arrive unannounced.
I agree.
But on another point, if we are sure to protect ourselves, we could harness this power and send envoys to the other worlds and establish relationships. But the downside of this idea is that someone could steal or replicate this method for their own selfish and conquering benefits.
And that is
that
certainly
is a worry.
the concern. And obviously, you're right on the risk of planeswalkers. There's not a lot we can do about them as long as they can freely jump between planes. But should we do what we can to prevent others from gaining the same power?
But it would seem that this city of Eltul simply just wants to go back to their own realm.
I understand that.
He turns to Zorax. Would you say that should a new attempt to go back home succeed, would you destroy this magical technology?
If it were me personally, I would not. But I am not alone here. And many others who are more morally correct, we'll say, would be more inclined to destroy it.
Interesting.
Speaking of possibly destroying objects, there is more than just planeswalking that you are here for as well.
As assumed why I'm here.
Yes. I understand that you've taken your sword to the Is It.
Correct.
May we examine it?
I kind of telekinetically speak to my blade. In assumption that they can't just simply read my thoughts here. Well, would you like to say hello?
To who?
To them?
I don't know them.
Neither do I. But they would like to speak with you.
If you're okay with it, I guess I don't mind. They are warm, like basking in the sun.
Unfortunately, I don't have many choices here, as I'm being voluntold. If you know, well, you probably know what that means, unfortunately.
I see.
It means I have no choice. Because if I say no, well,
Are they forcing you? Because if they are, we can do. We should not be forced to do things we do not want to do.
boy, do I agree. But also, should I not do this, I will surely be questioned and or pestered and killed. Now, you wouldn't like Daddy to die, so I assume you would rather talk to them than have my corpse be displayed.
Auremiel's been sitting in silence for quite some time
He's
after
just
asking
sitting.
his question. And he goes, well, are you going to present your sword or not?
Yes. And do I just, How do I give this to you? How do I present this to you?
Aurelia snaps her fingers, and Razia swoops down and grabs it and holds it up, and instantly her eyes kind of flash.
Be gentle with it.
She looks around. Interesting. And she hands it to Auremiel. Hello. You're so warm.
It's
It's alive.
It's sentient, yes.
Hence why I was hesitant.
I see.
I was asking permission.
Why are you so warm?
Well, I assume radiant energy, but
Fair.
what? You are interesting, that's for sure. And then I hand it over to Ethereal.
He takes it.
Oh, you glow bright. Hello.
Can I hear this?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm curious. Would you care to tell us how you came across this item and how it affected you directly?
Zorax takes a long exhale. Okay. I figured that question was coming. So, that blade you are carrying was once the Sword of Zariel.
Was this the Tainted Blade?
Correct.
What caused this taint?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yes.
More importantly, how did you clear it?
That's also another question, isn't it? So, what had caused the taint, I suppose, is it was once supposed to corrupt any individual to be completely eradicated, we'll say, of their personality to become a being much like you guys, actually. Just a full, lawful, and righteous individual. Now you might be
They all
wondering,
kind of
definition
just,
of
all their
corruption.
eyes just kind of dart around like, there's an artifact. There's an artifact that can imbue others with celestial power.
well, the funny thing, maybe at one point it could. It no longer has that power. I had, with whatever mortal will, or whatever you wish to call it, had beaten that power, and I had sustained myself. In doing so, perhaps maybe an adverse effect had happened, or something else. I do not know. I had fallen from grace. I was not always a fallen being, you know. Though it was contentious.
I see.
As for
And-
the Is It Guild, as your second question, truthfully, I have no way of giving you a detailed way of how they had extracted the darkness from it, seeing as I was blasted with a ray of intense pain for hours. And yes, I know. He looks over at Ethereal. I know that look. And somehow the darkness or corruption or something that was attached and was sentient inside it was somehow almost dissected away from it, as if cutting off an infection, and it was pulled away, and now it is what you hold in your hands.
Yes, we could sense that in the sword holding it, that it was no longer quite the what's the word I'm looking for? Artifact that was described to us before. But
I can confirm that this is in fact the same object, and I am always continuously impressed with the work of the Izzet. But
As am I.
we are deviating from the task of this council.
yeah,
Yes,
I-
this object was originally our goal. Clearly, that is less of a threat than the plane shifting device or power. Nathaniel, speak.
I extend my hand, and the sword then floats towards me, and it floats above my palm.
I
That's
see.
a nice trick.
Why do you not wish to touch the blade to speak with it? Unless it
I
just
sense-
does.
I sensed no evil from it, Nathaniel.
Just
I
confusion.
sense within this object that it has been twisted many times, that no longer resembles its original form. But even now, its power cannot be denied. But I do advise caution with it being in the hands of such an aberration.
yes, I agree.
Ah, yes. The corruption of this one's soul could very well slowly and surely taint the sword once again.
So I have a question for you all, if I may.
You may not. You will ask your questions shortly. First, I would ask my war council, as I have not gotten a straight answer. What, aside from what Ethereal has shared, what do you think we should do about this threat? Of course, the artifact was once an issue, but that is minor compared to it. Personally, I think that this technology and its knowledge needs to be removed from existence. No one should have the power to summon armies, civilizations into other worlds in the blink of an eye. What say you?
I agree.
Perhaps an inquiry of those who have knowledge of this magics could enlighten us on its true capabilities. It could shed some light on the subject.
And what benefit would that do?
So you can hunt and kill those who have that power.
I
But I
wouldn't go-
digress.
I think that's more of your mindset, Fallen One. But to answer my lady's question, sorry, to answer my lady's question, gaining insight as to the detailed information of these magics could help us complete our inquiry of such magics. There may be ways that it could be beneficial in secret.
Perhaps preventative measures.
I do believe such knowledge of transporting armies across the cosmos is something that should be purged, for it is a great threat to our realm and those of others.
A fair point.
I do, however, believe that not understanding its machinations would be folly. For not knowing one's opponent can bring ruin.
We have to consider if we use this power and it benefits us, but we lose track of who has knowledge of the power, it could backfire and release hordes across universes. And for the Boros, who are in charge of the armies and protecting this Ravnican realm, the existence of the knowledge is maybe protection for ourselves, but absolutely danger for everybody else.
I would agree. Say that such infidels were to use this technology or magics to invade other realms. Who's to say that it would be someone of our end? For example, the Syndicate, or far worse, those clowns. And he shudders.
I could not imagine the Rakdos getting access to planeswalker powers
Which
and
is why
spreading
we...
their filth.
I'm sorry. It is why we must destroy it. Anything, any knowledge of it.
But surely the Elturellians would only true desire is to return home. Why not destroy it after the fact?
Because you wouldn't be sure. Unless one of you comes with us.
Or one that can be persuaded to do what is necessary.
Ah, so back to the previous conversation, that's why I'm here.
All right.
Ah, you're cleverer than I give you credit for. I truly believe that the best step forward, and I have to agree with Emeriel, as well as I couldn't remember if it was Nathaniel or who's the other person that wanted it destroyed.
Nathaniel.
I think it was
Okay.
Nathaniel.
Yep.
I agree with Emeriel and Nathaniel that destruction of the device, the power, and all who know of it is the best way to protect Ravnica.
I can
I think-
handle... Excuse
ahead.
me. I can handle the eradication of any knowledge of it if you would like me to.
How do you plan to do such a thing?
Well, the notes that we are keeping in this meeting, first off, I would not let them leave this room. And second, I think anything that we do destroy should be by magical means, because it would be much harder to recover that way, I feel.
I think we will need aid.
But what about those who have the knowledge by way of memory? Would we rewrite said memory or erase said memory?
I believe this is the expertise of the House of Demir. To my understanding, if our reports are correct, and correct me if I'm mistaking, war leaders, that they tend to regularly wipe the memories of their servants.
The Demir are very skilled in their handling of all knowledge. I think
Yes.
they could be useful in that.
I forget that you guilds work together.
Ha!
Well.
Uriel kind of just scoffs. Together is a
When
Loose
applicable.
guild pact holds us together. We do what we must to ensure Ravnica's survival. We just don't always agree with the best methods. Now, I have heard from my councils. Nathaniel, you have been quiet. What held your tongue?
It is folly to speak without lack of knowledge. And unfortunately, in concerns to this event, we lack much of it.
What would you suggest? That we learn everything first, then destroy?
I mean, we know little of those who walk from other planes. We know little of those from Elturel and their interactions with other guild members.
Zorax, You had petitioned for a request or a question. What was it?
So, and I guess I kind of had the idea already, but I had a lingering question. Because I am this blight, we'll say. Why haven't you done anything about me yet, up until now?
Unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, we must abide by the Guild Pact. Thus, Esperia had the rights to you first, to define your innocence. The
Gotcha.
rule of law must be obeyed, whether we agree with it or not.
Even deviations have rights.
Well said, Nathaniel. So, I petition this then. That we gather as much knowledge on this technique or power as we can. Once we understand it, we will wipe it from any and all who are aware for the protection of Ravnica.
For the realm.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I concur.
This means we'll need somebody to gather this information for us in great detail. Zorax,
Hmm.
this is why you were called here today. Your job, your responsibility to Ravnica. Yes, I know you're not from here. But I have a feeling with the right persuasion, you will agree to our terms. You wish to seek your wife and return to your wife, is this true?
Of course.
So,
Even evil has some sides of good. We're not all just truly black and white.
That remains to be seen.
the law is the law, and we will follow it as we shall. Esperia's rule determined you and your kin innocent. We will hold to that. What I wish for you is that once the secret to the planeswalking is identified, you are to report that information to us and to document any and all who know. With this, we will ensure that you and your city are transported safely before we scour the plains to remove the knowledge and technology from others.
And if I may, if you choose to withhold information from us,
Your judgment shall be swift.
well put, Nathaniel.
So what I'm getting at here is, if I don't tell you guys the information, you'll just kill me anyway.
That is not what we said.
Hmm.
The implication for you, corrupted one, is that shall we not get what it is we seek, you and your city may be making Ravnica your new home. Indefinitely.
Hmm.
Do you
So,
understand?
you see, here's the thing. We already plane shifted once. Yes, it was by sheer luck we landed here. But I have some hopes that I think we could do it again with or without your help. So, you giving us this security. We've gotten here this far without some other cosmic force breathing down our neck, and actually had one actively against us. And we still got here. We still
It would
made it
seem,
through a
due to your
realm.
stories, cosmic forces are what brought you here in the first place.
But we still left, didn't we?
And you should be
Right.
careful how you talk to us here. You might have defeated one fallen angel, but you are talking to a room of them right now. By yourself.
Easy, Emeril. Zorax, you are correct in thinking you may find a way home. But if you think that the Groll or the Rakdos or hell, even the rat-infested Golgari wouldn't take the first opportunity to experience and overrun a new world, then you are sorely mistaken. Your shift from this world will draw attention. There is no denying that. And when it does, who is it you want to follow?
Maybe you think that we're going to be this thing that's going to start this whole revolution of planeswalking cities. But maybe it's just the mortal in me talking.
Yes, listen to that part. Mortal.
And
I
let's not,
think
and let's
that-
also be clear too. We are not merely worried about any threat that may come from other worlds to ours. We also must consider the threat of our world to others.
Zorax, you were going to say something?
I was going to say that the progress of magic was going to happen anyway, with or without my city. I don't think you're going to be able to stop this cosmic force from entering or leaving from any realm once it happens.
You may be right, but we can certainly delay it.
And you can see Zorax getting more agitated, and that's just it with you guys. You think because you can live forever, because that you guys can just play a hand in all of these cosmos, that I have to somehow spend part of my mortal life to help you guys who can just simply live on as if I'm a blink. You guys will forget me in years. I don't have that time.
What if you did?
Why would I want to be like you guys? Why would I want to forget any part of who I am? Being mortal is what makes me cherish everything that I have, including that blade.
So I ask you
and I
again,
worked.
will you aid us in this endeavor?
I'll have to think about it. I do see the upsides of working with you guys, but I need time to cool off.
With our aid, we can ensure you get home and that nobody follows you.
And
You
I'm
should
sure my
consider
city would
this
want that.
offer from Master Aurelia herself, Zorax. For it is quite rare for her to make such an offer to a fallen one such as yourself.
He takes a deep breath and he kind of visibly calms down. I appreciate your respect, but I need time to talk with the others. I can't make this decision alone.
You say you can't make this decision alone. Yet I can feel your anger, ready to lash out at me.
tent is a bitch, ain't it?
So I will tell you this. Emeriel will be your contact.
You sure you want
She
it to be
holds,
him?
She holds. What are you implying?
Well, he doesn't seem to like me very much.
No, Zorax, it's not that. Maybe I didn't agree with your ways of doing things in the past. From what I've heard, it's not been the cleanest thing. That, from what I've heard, your sword used to tell you to kill people.
It did. It was it's gruesome.
Right, so you can see my hesitation with having you walk free during your trial.
Understandably.
Yes. And I understand that you, with your already existent problems, control a great power that threatens our realm. That is why I'm hard on you.
You know, if there's one thing about you, angels, at least you're honest with me.
Eyes dart around to each other.
Not Ethereal.
Look.
He just chuckles.
As
I
with
have
when I was
made my decision. Well, I will open the floor before I declare my decision. I will open the floor to any last points of discussion. To my understanding, we are currently in agreement that the destruction and hiding of this power is of the utmost importance. Is there anything else that I should be aware of?
I've always been intrigued by the inherent tyranny of the celestial realm. I'm glad you like Zorax, because he's kind of a fun character, even though he's an evil bastard.
So she has now opened the floor up to you guys. This is your chance for your characters to get those characters, the angels, to ask their questions either to each other, Aurelia or Zorax, or just in general for seeking an answer. Reyna steps forward. She stands up. She stands up out of her seat, hovering in the air, and says, "Have we not considered the benefits of this technology or power? I have heard all the bad, but what about the good?"
Are you talking about alliances with the other more civilized realms?
Well, that's a start. Think about what could be learned from other worlds. What resources do they have that we may need, or vice versa?
So you are trying to consider the threat versus the return.
Yes.
That makes a valid point.
I was surprised that none of my brothers or sisters had come to this conclusion. Probably because they are always, excuse my words, kissing your wings, mistress.
Excuse you.
I would love to hear an angel say that, but I'm so glad that just happened. Zorax chuckles just a little bit. He's like, well, the problem is, but I do like the idea of camaraderie. I do think it has its benefits. There lies the inherent issue of Power corrupts, right? Take it from me.
Yes, I can smell your stink all the way up here.
Ah, yes, I haven't bathed in weeks, thank you.
That explains a lot.
It was
Father,
a joke,
I think
Nathaniel.
they're talking about the taint.
She hasn't floated back down to me. I can't hear her.
It's true.
This is saying this as a player. This is very true.
I will not deny that there could be potential benefits, but do the benefits outweigh the risks?
Aurelia says, I personally do not think it is worth the risk. Sure, gaining access to new societies, cultures, resources, it certainly is
Knowledge.
appealing. But in the same token, each of those comes with their own threats and perils.
Right. Armies don't come marching through portals carrying medical supplies and new spells to teach people. They come through looking to dominate different realms.
I agree.
That being said, it is not unheard of in the Forgotten Realms for others to associate with other realms, if only briefly.
So I have a question for everyone outside of character. Do you think the characters in Faerun refer to it as the Forgotten Realms?
Nope.
Or is that 100% just a meta thing for us?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
I,
it's another thing.
I don't
Maybe it
actually
is
know
just
the answer.
Faerun. Yeah. Maybe,
I don't have
know.
the
Because
answer. to
I just
that.
always
the
know it
con-
as the Forgotten Realms, right?
Yeah.
So-
The continent is Faerun, but then you have Toril, which is the entire plane, right? Anyway, sorry, I derailed for a second there. I was like,
No, that's
"They
fine,
actually
it's
call
fine,
it
yeah.
that?"
I mean, if we are,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not
the
we are
lore
talking
master of
plane
D&D.
walking. You could say it's that plane versus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that
So, anyways, well then. Excuse me. She says with a yawn. Then, while I think there appears to be some nuance to this, I still think that the best thing we can do to protect Ravnica is protect this power from the hands of anyone who would use it for darkness. So, Zorax, you help us understand this so that we can destroy and hide this power from the rest of Ravnica. And you promise that once we successfully help you return to your Toril, you will make sure that nobody with this power can seek us out.
Also, I would like to get clarification. You are working with the Is It on this technology, correct?
I mean, me personally, no. Currently, I'm working with you guys. But yes, the others are... I don't know what they are doing with the Is It currently. But last I checked, they were working with the Is It before a good number of you decided to take me away.
Okay. If you could, in your gathering of knowledge, help us know who in the Is It has this knowledge as you go along, I think we could help you cover your tracks.
So, I also just now thought of this. What of... Because I am not the one who will, or rather will not be the only one with this knowledge, I presume, in order to go back. What about the people of Elturel who have this knowledge? And if they are just simply, they have it in memory, what do... Oop, I'm lagging a little. Sorry, I lagged a little. What do you expect me to do with them the ones with the knowledge, seeing as I have no capabilities to wipe memories.
Are you referring to the good-natured folk or the bad or otherwise?
Well, unfortunately, I have a mad mage in my area who is the one who is capable of doing these plane shifting nonsense. So, what do you expect me to do with him? What if he can resist memory alterations? Do you expect me to just kill him?
Killing is rather excessive.
But effective.
Also fair.
You're not
Nathaniel,
helping.
you know how I've said about that. We follow the laws to the best of our ability.
I made no attempt to intone otherwise.
But that's where my current issue resides. Because if we truly wish to get rid of all of this knowledge, that simply doesn't seem to be possible once we just leave.
Aremiel,
Yes.
you have worked closely with members of the House Demir in your years. Am I correct?
I have.
If we were to hire them, do you think that they would have the resources to wipe the entire city of El Terrell?
They have the access to modify memory, the spell.
So,
It's hard to say how many Demir there actually are, as they are very secretive. But
understood.
enough of them that they might be able to take care of the memories of most of the people that are important to using it.
To have access to this knowledge. The leadership is what I'm more concerned about, to have this knowledge. The common folk, it matters not for me personally.
They
They
wouldn't
could-
be able to use it.
A fair statement.
The common folk wouldn't be able to have access to this power. And I've lagged once again!
So, here is my ruling.
I have
Yeah, his internet's really poopy. Try disconnecting and rejoining. So, excuse me.
Give us a second.
Guess we'll wait for him to come back. Zorax the Laginator. So let's use this opportunity to give ourselves a plug. We want to thank everyone who's joining us here at the Planeshifters D&D actual play. Our lost, forgotten realms people stuck in Ravnica. We are a Dungeons and Dragons show. You can find us on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we talk D&D. This week's going to be Monsters of the Multiverse. Please come and join us. Smash that subscribe, all that stuff. Share with your friends, all that good stuff. Also, consider checking out our Clash of Classes. What a tongue twister! And check that out. Share it with your friends. The WWE style D&D PvP. Check it out.
It is
We'll
super
be doing
cool and
it.
unique.
Yeah, it's different.
It
And we're
is
still
epic.
refining it. Yeah. What's
It would
that?
seem. Anyway,
So,
so it
anyways,
would seem that the general consensus of this council is to observe for now, purge as needed.
yes, I will put Emriel in charge of being the contact for Zorax. Though I don't know that Zorax has officially agreed to help us. He says he wishes to think about it, but I would prefer an answer before you leave.
The only issue is that I don't know how, I guess willing doesn't matter, they would be to give up the knowledge. If they would be willing to just trade their work away.
Who says they have to be willing?
And that's the thing. That's the phrase I was looking for out of one of you. And that's the thing I don't like about all of you.
But if you don't remember it, what does it matter? Forget the power, go home, be with your wife. In Baldur's Gate, was it? What a strange name.
It's a hellish landscape. I always hated it. Wish I could have gotten out. Hence I was in Elturel. And hence why I was in hell. Just traded one for a different one. But that doesn't change the nature of what is happening. Because unless you wipe my memory, I now know, and I have to live with that until the day I die.
No, you don't. And who said we would allow you to keep your memory of this power? You help us, you get home, your city gets home. There's no reason for you to disagree with this. We will help you, you'll get there quicker, you'll leave this world of Ravnica behind, return to your own lands, familiar, albeit sounds pretty terrible, judging by your words a moment ago.
It was never a paradise.
And it's not like you would forget everything about Ravnica. Just
Correct.
the little bit that would threaten the world.
Do you think that that's unreasonable of us, mortal?
So then comes another question. Because I know I have a few knowledge seekers in my party. What if they rediscover this power again in their lifetime?
After the memory wipe.
Of course. If it was discovered once, why couldn't it be discovered again?
That is a problem that we will have to deal with in another time now, isn't it?
But let us focus on the immediate issue.
Nor does our influence extend to other realms, which is the point behind our decisions.
All we can do is concern ourselves with our realm at the moment. And while we won't be able to protect against every potential invasion or risk from another world, we can at least limit the risk to this world and others by making the knowledge difficult to acquire.
Also, how do you know that someone else here in Ravnica now doesn't already have this knowledge?
We don't.
So,
but the longer this knowledge is out there, the more people that know, the worse it'll be. That's why we must end this quickly. Remember,
so when you wipe all of our memories of this existing power, and say that Demir already has this existing knowledge already, my city has to pay from influence of you guys, but The others will just, when you find out, you'll get there. And then they can invade my realm, and suddenly I have to fight this. Not a totally far off what if scenario.
This is true. But if we wipe the memories of those that understand the mechanics of this power, how long do you think it will take a bunch of spies to be able to replicate it? They're spies, they're not engineers.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Well,
a spy can hold the formula to ending the world. Doesn't mean they know how to utilize it. If you wipe the mind of those that might be able to, you limit your risk. And that's what the Boros do. We protect by limiting the risk the best we can. And right now, the biggest risk to Ravnica is this power.
Well, if you want my personal decision, I'm going to delightfully decline. I don't want your guys' influence onto my city and my people. Sorry.
Think carefully of this.
I've thought plenty enough.
As well as the fact that whose forces kept other guilds at bay from your city.
Do you honestly
Just to
believe
kill
that
us
you can
later.
sustain yourself, that you can withstand the forces of the other guilds without us?
Well, I've already walked through hell. Can't be much worse.
Well then, Zorax, if that truly is your answer, I hope you enjoy Ravnica.
Well, it is nicer than Baldur's Gate, so I appreciate the invitation.
Well then, we will close out this meeting with one final statement. Zorax, would you look at this? And she holds up a rod with a ruby on it.
Alarming, but okay.
And it flashes a bright light. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
DC
I'm getting my
DC
memory fucked up.
20.
Oh yeah.
What up, Men in Black?
This is a joke. Wisdom, it's a 20. Do I have anything to help me? Fuck.
You have an aura thing, don't you?
I do. I'm alright.
You're a
I'm at
paladin.
19. I'm wondering if I can have a way to bump it up a little.
I'm glad everyone got the Men in Black reference.
Yeah. I was like, this motherfucker. Well, I can't do anything else in response pretty much, because it just kind of happened.
Well, is it? What do you mean?
Well, it could be like, because the things that I do have would be like an action, right? So it'd be like, I can't just like, in response, do this. Like, it doesn't.
No, it would have to
it's
be
not
a
a
reaction, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the similar vein of looking at a Medusa before you realize it's a Medusa. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if you know going into it, you can block your eyes and shit. But since you've never seen this thing,
Right.
you
I'm
have,
kind of
you're
like, what is... Yeah.
And who's to say you aren't going to be in the apartment? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I have any way to boost it up. So 19.
All right, so
I rolled
you
a
find
9.
yourself sitting inside this room, waiting to meet with Aurelia. It's been hours now, and Lavina walks in and says, "You're free to go. Do you need assistance returning, or can you find your way back to your friends?
I spend this many hours just to do nothing. Unbelievable. Is my sword with me?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Because if it
Aurelia
wasn't, that was going to
says,
be a warning.
Lavina says, Aurelia sends her apologies, but she wants you to know that should you seek any assistance in getting your city home, or if you need any assistance getting your city home, to reach out to Aurelia and the Boros Legion, and we will do our best to help you. If you need aid and protection for your city, you can contact one of her commanders, Aremiel, and he'll be there to share information and help you in any way that he can.
I see. Alright. Well, as long as you can help me get back to the I don't know how long has it been since I've been here?
It is easily going on 3 hours since you've arrived.
Oh my god, I've been sitting in this room for 3 hours? How do I do it sometimes? Oh, right, but through hell. That's probably how.
I need to actually read through all of Modify Memory because somebody just dropped something in chat that says one flaw is Zorax might realize his mind was wiped. So now I got to see if I missed something in the spell.
It could. I was gonna check myself personally. I was like, I wonder how much it actually hurts me here. Of course, granted, with
it depends on how recent the memory is.
oh,
So this says you can permanently eliminate all memory of the event that lasted no more than 10 minutes, and allow the target to recall the event with perfect clarity in exact detail, or change its memory of the detail of the event and create a memory of some other event. You must be speaking to the target and describe the effects, which she was, because you were, in a meeting hall.
Right.
It fills the mind's gaps with the details. In this case, of you just waiting around for hours. Otherwise, the modified memories take hold when the spell ends. The modified memory doesn't necessarily affect how a creature behaves, particularly if the memory contradicts the creature's natural inclinations. Blah blah blah. And illogical there's no illogical. You came here, you sat, you stand around.
Okay.
So yeah, so there are ways to get rid of it, but you'd have to know you're under its effects.
So, but what was the time frame again?
3 hours.
So you have in your memory you've been waiting for 3 hours.
I think
But I
what
thought
he's
it only could
referring to
rewrite up to
is
10 minutes,
it can
right?
only cover 10 minutes.
And there's no
Yeah.
way that whole meeting was 10 minutes.
Using
He's
the
right.
base spell, yes.
True, I guess. I don't know if you can up it.
I guess
and-
I didn't really determine how long the discussion was.
Well, seeing as we've been chatting here for an hour.
Oh yeah, but you can't compare real life time to game time.
No.
Oh,
But it's a whole meeting.
Darwin brings up a great point.
Which is
And he has a
His
way. A little
sword
blade
did
there
not-
is possibly
his
aware.
sword didn't
Yeah.
get its memory wiped.
You can't wipe the memory of my blade.
You don't know that.
His sword can tell him
Oh.
later.
okay. So here's what I'm gonna do, fucking Garwin. So here's what
Which
we're
I was
gonna
gonna
do.
say something. Admittedly, thank you, Darwin. But I was gonna say something about this anyway because I'm like, if it affects me, what about my sword?
Yeah, he's
So we're gonna go ahead and you're right. It does. In my mind, the conversation wasn't very long.
But that's
So
and
we're gonna
I can
say,
be fair with that.
we're gonna say that it affected your memory completely,
That's fine.
but I'm not gonna say it affected your swords, who still doesn't have a name, by the way.
I gave it his name. It's Lumine.
Did
For
you
light.
really?
When
Yeah,
did that
I
happen?
totally did not write that down.
it was like 2 sessions ago. I don't expect anyone to remember.
How do you spell it? Lumine?
Yep, Lumine. Like to illuminate.
I
Like
got
light.
you.
It is a play on
right.
words because he's like, wow, this thing is a little light thing now.
All right. So okay,
Not
so
filled
that's
with
that's
evil.
what we're gonna go with. Dang it! I done fucked some shit up here.
I figure because it's, kind kind of like an archangel's staff thing anyway. I assume it would be potent enough to wipe my whole memory, so I wasn't going to argue.
Yeah, I mean,
it was basically just the spell.
Yeah.
But obviously, as DM, I could change it how I want, but that wasn't the intent at all. So, all right. So, Lavina looks at you and says, so, as I said, I have passed on the words of Aurelia to you. Do you need assistance returning back to your allies?
Yes, unfortunately, I have flightless wings, not flying ones.
Her face kind of flickers in annoyance. Fine.
That's
He
a face
snaps his
side.
fingers, and several several angels surround you, and she touches you on the head, and you begin being filled with this energy that grants you flight. You are radiating golden, very much like a Super Saiyan. And she says,
Sweet.
"Farewell, corrupted one. You may seek out the Boros Legion whenever you need aid."
Yeah, we'll see when
Bye.
that happens.
And they escort you back to the Is It guild of the what the hell? I forgot, what guild are you guys in? I forgot the
Metallurgy!
Lab of
metallurgy?
Metallurgy.
Metallurgy!
So
Metallurgy.
so you guys are all coming out of this. I gotta scroll through so many notes. Great notes, by the way.
Yep.
So you arrive at the Izzet College of Metallurgy or Guild of Metallurgy, and
Lab.
you see you get to the front, and there's a lady at the front desk. Looks very impatient, very plump, balding on her head. She goes, "Yeah, what do you want?"
I just spent so much of my time sitting in a room. I wish to see my comrades.
Yeah, just sit right there, and I will get a hold of them. What are their names?
Merle, Garmore. Echo.
Yes, the new one.
Yes.
You're a supervisor, right? Is that the title? I
Yeah,
give
I
you?
think he was a
Yeah.
supervisor.
Yes.
It says,
The
yeah.
supervisor.
Supervisor.
The one who probably gets paid more than you.
So she's
Shit.
running through, and you got this holographic thing, and she says, "Just sit right there. I'll contact him." And she puts you. After you just bitching about sitting around, she points over your thing and makes you go sit down.
Is it at least comfier than the previous chair?
It is.
Thank God.
And as you're sitting there, both Merle, Garmore, and Echo, you are all sitting in your the lab area, as if Merle is asking for this, that, and the other thing, and you guys are handing to him as he's in his pocket dimension working on stuff. You can just see the echoes bouncing off the walls coming out of the one little doorway, and you hear a very generic phone ring sound, and a beacon flashing light on the wall.
Yep. What?
Excuse me, sir. There's a mister, and she turns to you. What was your name again, sir?
What? Are you referring to me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, you. What is? Come on. I don't have all day.
I have plenty of time in comparison. I'm Zorax. Thank you.
So you just hear him kind of muttering in the background. She's like, I don't know, some disgruntled black angel guy is out here. He says he's here to see you. His name's Zorax.
Yeah, I heard him. It's him. Send him up.
She says she almost gets this attitude as if her helping you is an inconvenience to her. She's like, all right, you're gonna head down the hall, and she kind of gives you some just directions and stuff. And as you're walking through, you walk into the door and you see the supervisor plate with Merle Bronson written underneath it, and then underneath it's a little tag and guests. As you,
Although there's a
walk-
50% chance I might occasionally say "and idiots."
Midgets. I love it. And what does that say? Ooh, interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Ian. So the door kind of slides open. It's like on some automatic gizmo, kind of catches you off guard for a moment, Zorax. And there's Merle Bronson. He's got a couple little goggle things over his eyes, and there's little gizmos running up and down his shoulders, and sparks going everywhere. And he kind of just looks at you.
Oh no, we lost him.
Again, I'm here again.
Ah.
Oh. I'm so
Zorax,
sorry.
welcome.
You're back.
I cannot believe fucking angels.
What happened? He's frozen again, isn't he?
I think he is.
Oh no.
I thought he paused.
That's
for
what happens
dramatic
when you
effect
try to
because
recall-
Nothing happened.
Yeah, that's what happens when you try to recall modified memory, but you don't remember.
Side note, I know
Hey, what happened with
talked
the
about
angels?
This, and Garmin pointed this out. I would think the angels would know if they could modify the memory of the sword, whether they have the means or not. But I can also picture it. Maybe they also had it sworn an oath of silence too.
Ooh, nice. I like that. At the moment, I'm gonna say that they didn't even. That just is something that they overlooked.
I doubt that, but okay.
I
You're good.
keep DCing. I'm so sorry. And I was gonna say, fucking angels. I can't believe they made me sit in a room for 3 hours to do nothing just to fly me back.
Nothing.
Nothing! They sat me in a room! Made me very angry. There was this one that always kept looking at me funny. Just because you're like, hello there, tainted one, motherfuckers. I cannot. You have no idea how much mental strength it took for me to not just blow up.
You didn't even talk to anybody about.
No, nobody. They just locked me in a room. I figured they were gonna kill me. I was on guard for like 3 hours.
Are you
Stupid.
certain?
I'm almost positive. Why? I mean, that's. I don't know. Maybe they're just keeping an eye on me because I'm some dumb, corrupted guy. It makes sense to me.
Did you say
Surprising.
anything while you were sitting?
No. They just told me that eventually, they said that if we wanted help from the Boros Legion or, I even think Aurelia, they said that we could get help from them. But that was on my way out. But I was there with a bunch of angels. I mean, how many? It was actually 12. I still remember that part, right? Like 12 of them took me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Include.
I still remember that.
Was
I
among
mean,
them.
12 of them grabbed me, and I mean, they sat me in a room. I got out of the room eventually. I was playing cards, talking to my sword.
So
Something.
As you're discussing this, that voice, that small infant-like, childlike voice comes. What about the meeting? Why are you hiding that from them?
Zorax's eyes just like narrow. He's like, meeting. We didn't have one,
Yes.
but you wouldn't lie to me.
No, you talked to them, Father.
I
And
did.
they wanted you to help them, I think. They were so warm. I remember their warmth.
Zorax, I have a question for you.
Oh. You're right. I recall you saying that. They were more. But only the initial one. I don't really remember anything else. Sorry, Garmore. What's wrong?
Are you targeted with a sword?
Yeah, sorry.
What is she saying?
That I was in a meeting. And that's not possible. I was at home.
He gestures you
in
to
the
come
room.
over to him. Come here. Let me examine you for a moment. It's harmless, I assure you.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I just dealt with angels all day. At least it's you guys. I can be comfortable with this, I guess.
So
he walks up.
So with a little bit of guidance, he would like to make an Arcana check on Zorax's mind.
Ooh, my whole monitor just...
Garmore have enough information yet to...
That's what I'm trying to decide. I don't think he does.
Oh.
I think he's going on meta knowledge because there's not nearly enough information, and I don't even think Arcana is the right check for that anyway.
Yeah.
You would have to know something is wrong, and right now
we're just suspicious.
I think we're just suspicious in that kind of territory. Yeah.
Although, wouldn't Garmore respond to just sort of imply something too?
I guess if Zorax shares what the sword has told him, we could be more suspicious.
The assumption is that most times when it speaks only...
Right. The sword only shares with Zorax. Or whoever's holding the sword, I guess.
I'm trying to figure out how, as the players, they would learn, because if I just let him do checks right now, he's going to automatically just undo the whole point of it.
Right.
And that just kind of makes it not...
Fun.
Well, I'm not saying fun, but anticlimactic, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the reveal coming at a more important, different time might be better, but I also don't want to just say, no, you can't do this. But I also have to figure out what would you have done to cue in that this thing happened to you.
Or how could we even detect something happened to him? Yeah, like it would be difficult.
Like
okay. So my thing would be, because Echo is from the Dimir, right?
Right.
Yes.
So he's familiar with like memory manipulation, but I don't know how you would have the telltale signs to show that someone had their memory manipulated. As a player, I literally don't know how you would even gather that information.
Right. And I don't have an answer for that either at the moment. I have some ideas, but none of which I'm willing to just blurt out and say.
Right,
because...
right.
All right, then I retract what Garmore was
Yeah, and I don't want you to think that I'm just trying to shut down what you're trying to do, but I just don't think that there's enough information for your character to draw that conclusion like you are.
Zorax, after he says that his sword said he was in a meeting, he says, I must have just been mistaken somehow. I don't know. It just... maybe I forgot. I don't...
And the other part is his sword is very much childlike.
So there's no reason for the sword to lie, kind of thing.
Right. And even for it to regurgitate what happened would be discombobulated as well from the eyes of a child.
Zorax, did Zorax share what the sword was saying to him?
I mean, the sword did tell me that I was in a meeting, and I said that because Garmore asked what's wrong, and I said that the sword had told me that I was in a meeting, and then I also said that couldn't be right because I believe still that I was sitting in a room this whole time.
And technically, you did meet with Lavina.
Yeah, I mean that could be
just.
Your sword is young. I mean, maybe he's just confusing your meeting with Lavina as a talk, I guess.
I don't... Maybe? I don't know.
I wish I could inquire more.
Beyond what I know, but all I know is that I was sitting in a room, and even though I was taken by a bunch of angels, I assume it's because everyone here calls us planeswalkers. I don't understand.
And they didn't smite you, so that's.
I mean, I take it as a win. I am not dead, which is what I initially thought.
When
personally.
they took you away, I was worried.
I was worried as I was flying through the sky with them. It's
Yes.
Ravnica is surprisingly pretty. But also, it's a horrifying time to be flying around with 12 angels.
It
Not a
could
good
have
time.
been much worse than just sitting in a room and getting sent back.
I'm telling you, I was on guard for 3 hours, and not a thing happened. But aside from Raviel,
Lavina.
Lavina, father.
Lavina, thank
She
you.
was so nice, so warm. I
Lavina,
want warmth again. So cold here.
I'm sorry, little one. But Lavina
Little one, I love
told
that.
us. It's a sword, I don't know what to call it.
Sword.
Big smashy thing.
Yeah.
He does have a name.
The slicing dice.
But I met with Lavina. Boros Legion said they could help us get out of here, I guess. They didn't really dissect into how. All I know is Aurelia said something along the lines of saying they were going to help as well.
Wasn't that nice of her, Dad? Father? Offering to help like that. So fun. So warm. Can I see them again?
The 12 angels? I mean, we were just there. We don't need to go back. Father doesn't like the angels, sweetie. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like Mandalorian child Grogu
Yeah.
vibe. And we're just gonna keep calling it the sword instead of the actual.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the child. Sorry, tangent.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Lumine, right?
Yep, Lumine.
All right. So, as you guys kind of get back here and you're working on all these different things, the hollow vid pops up and it talks again about the battles going on in Precinct 4 on the Trans Guild Promenade. There are now reports that the leader of one of the factions has been either severely wounded or has died, and a toxic gas has been spilled or released, a toxic agent that is causing people severe pains of the eyes and making it difficult to breathe, and they're throwing up and a myriad of different symptoms.
Do we know which faction leader this is?
It has not been stated.
Do I recognize the symptoms that they describe?
Give me a medicine check.
Medicine. Actually,
As he does that, Echo would like to say, the loss of a guild leader in Ravnica is immense, more than you could ever imagine.
I thought it was a faction leader.
Yeah, not a guild leader.
Yeah, it's not a guild master. It's just one of the faction leaders.
Okay.
If there was any confusion there, I'm sorry.
But even then, that's still.
But yeah, that can still tip the scales into one
Whichever
guild's favor. Yeah, it's huge.
And I would imagine, though, our missing lord there is still having the time of his life.
Or he could be the one who is missing in action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I rolled a 27 on my medicine check.
Congrats! Holy cow!
So this matches. You don't know if it's exactly the same, but there is a disease in Faerun known as sight rot, where it causes severe bleeding and severe bleeding of the eyes, vomiting, and can really cause permanent blindness to anybody that inhales or drinks the taint. You don't know if it's exactly the same because you're in another world, but it certainly sounds familiar.
Oh, more on the my trip because I forgot this. The irony. I did gain the name of one of the presumably angels, Auremiel. Apparently, if we wanted assistance, I could talk to them. Echo, do you know this individual at all?
Remy,
Yes,
I do. Yes.
apparently.
He works with the Demir somewhat.
Yeah,
Does?
he's the
Yeah,
Demir
he's
contact
the-
as well as one of the 4 war leaders that report directly to Aurelia.
Yes, he's an important person.
This illness they're speaking of is known as sight rot. It causes permanent damage to one's sight. But that's only a disease I know of from Faerun. At least.
That's
Perhaps
interesting.
it's their own version here in Ravnica, but there's too little to go on, and I'm very concerned to the lack of confirmation of who that faction leader was. It could have been the Grand Duke, for all we know, which is why we have to somehow get there.
I was about to say, are we ever going to rescue that guy?
Today is the day.
I just
'Cause
need
luckily-
holy water for crying out loud.
You need holy water?
Yes.
Oh, well, shit, that sucks. Hold on. Do I know the bless spell, actually? No, I don't. Okay. I cannot make
only-
you holy water.
If only you had just had contact with a whole bunch of holy creatures.
Oh, wait! Actually, hey, hold on! Wait! I could get us holy water, guys!
By who? Contacting this Auremiel figure?
Well, apparently he's an angel, so fuck, why not?
And you didn't ask for this when you were there?
I forgot!
Was honest to do
Don't
this.
even think. Don't think it was honest to do this.
I was worried about getting killed! And you
Yeah.
want me to ask him? Oh,
true.
by the way, I know you guys might be planning to kill me, and maybe, putting my head on a pike, but can I have some holy water? For my friends, that'd be fine. Yeah, would you go into a dragon's den and ask for some holy water?
Or want the dragon to have holy water?
It's
I could reach Demiriel if you need me to, through the Demir, if necessary.
How long will that take?
I don't know. Demir seemed fast.
How far away was your journey?
Well, considering I flew here in my metaphysical watch, about, I don't know, maybe an hour, it didn't seem that far. I mean, I'm here and back in a day.
Okay. Well, Demir aren't great flyers, but
They know peeps.
if we
Another whole thing.
oh, it's worth a try. And they can deliver the message, and Mariel does have wings, so he could find this fast enough.
On the holovid, a woman pops up saying, "Breaking news, this just in. There has been an assassination attempt, or maybe a success, in El Terrell.
Oh my god.
More information tonight at 5.
Oh god. An assassination
where we're-
attempt.
And that's where we're going to end it.
No!
Oh,
So from here, we'll assume that our Demir Master is going to reach out to Emerald to collect the holy water. So make sure there's a
Good.
note of that. We will also you now have 3 things to do. You still got to collect a few components get a few components for the device to plane shift. You still have the option to investigate recovery of the Duke, and then of course investigating the assassination attempt or success.
All right, as much as Murr wants to work on the machine, he's probably wants to at least get the Duke because A, he kind of owes him one, and B, at least it would help stabilize the crap going down at El Terrell.
there are a couple more things that we should do at some point.
What's that?
I'm the only one that has Ravnik and coin.
Yeah.
So at
Y'all
some
broke.
point, somebody's gonna have to visit the Orzhov, or we all will, because they're the bank,
Yeah.
and make an exchange for Ravnik and coin, because I can
Well-
only get us so far.
Well,
Well,
figure
also,
that out next time.
One of the benefits to your boy Merle becoming a supervisor and employed of Izzet, he will be paid in Ravnik and gold or coin or whatever.
Did you hear that?
Good.
I'll be getting money.
But that's
Holy
not
hell.
not enough. So
Mhm.
all right, that's where we're gonna end it. I want to thank everyone that joined us. I had a blast today. This was definitely different. I never know how it's gonna go when you just give people other characters and kind of turn them loose. Hopefully we got to I really expected a little more fight from Zorax, gonna be honest. You really held back today. I was waiting for
I
you
was
to
like,
draw that sword on Ariel or something.
I was really wanting to. I was like, I'll just
Aurelia.
die. It's not going to be a grand fight. It's just going to be a slaughter.
Emriel was definitely pushing you at some points there.
I was like, "Is this guy
I was
right here?"
trying to. I was also trying to poke him a little bit too. Like, do
I
something.
mean, and I like what I think it was it Garwin? Yeah, Garwin, because he still like was direct enough. He still like exuded his anger out a little. He's like, no.
yeah.
But he didn't lose control.
Still
which
showed
was-
that Zorax sass.
Yeah. But now you guys have made.
But also I declined, so you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone else in the group, because we probably could have had some help, but unfortunately, I chose the
Yeah.
wrong fucking guy.
And I'm really curious. Like, Austin, what was your impression of each of the angels we each role played?
Honestly, I really liked it because it was it helps the DM to not have to just be 4 personalities. But
Yeah.
so the take that I got from all of it was Eremiel was like the kind of like looking down and being like, "Hey, I dare you, do something, anything, because the minute you do, Nathaniel over here is gonna take care of your ass." I liked the design of all of them. Are these like actual like angels in like or is it just like you just had to like come up with like
So
random...
the only one that I could find that actually had a name for one of the, they're called Angelic War Leaders.
Okay.
Was Razia.
Okay,
but
and
I
that's how
didn't-
come.
and that's-
Yeah,
That's the one I played, but the rest of them I just generated names for.
gotcha.
Because I was going to intend on them being actually from the setting, but I
Right.
couldn't find enough unless there's like specific cards that I just couldn't figure out
Right.
the names of.
Did
So,
you use
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fantasy name generator on them?
always,
yeah.
always, always.
Just like good old
Great
Eminem.
tool. It's a great tool.
I liked the way Matt played Ethereal, which was that very wasn't quite lawful neutral, but extremely lawful character, where he's like, now, like all has to be fair kind of thing, and I kind of enjoyed that because like it gave Zorax just that tiniest edge to actually be a part of the conversation rather than all just angels looking down and being like, shut the fuck up and listen to us, which is what I was expecting going into it, admittedly.
Yeah, that was.
And I also liked that Ian, who was playing Nathaniel, was more like the it was interesting because he had like the black wings and everything, so I was like, interesting. So is he like also fallen, or just like a weird breed of angel? And I guess I wanted to ask, but I never did because it only came up in my head one time.
I was
in the
going for a
conversation.
volcano angel. That makes any sense?
Yeah, and that works. And I liked how he was like very stern and to the point, which is a very much so like a Zorax quality, I think.
Wait a sec, I'm getting as much as the idea of a volcanic angel vibe that I would get that Ian described. I was thinking of a master of weaponsmithy or weapon and armor smithy.
That's
Or
the
a
thing.
forge, yeah.
Yeah, I was
That's
kind of getting that
Like
as well.
cast iron slash like
Yeah.
metallic sheen to it.
Well, I would like to offer everyone a point of inspiration. You guys all did wonderfully, and the fact that Austin was able to determine the different play styles means you guys role played them very well. So
It was cool. I was very
Thank you.
impressed by it.
Wait, I already had an inspiration from last session.
should have used it then.
I should have used
Well.
it. I guess he wouldn't have got a chance.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
this time.
Sorry.
No,
But anyways,
2 points of inspiration. Got it.
no, they do not stack.
Then they shouldn't.
Fair. Fair.
All right, so thanks again for everyone for joining us. I had a blast. As you can tell, Zorax was the focus. Even though he got his memory wiped, he still came out with something he didn't have going in. And do you know what that is, Zorax?
I don't. What exactly is that?
You
His
have
dignity?
contacts. Well, that too. And contacts in the Boros Legion that
Yeah.
are higher up than the measly sergeant y'all were hanging out with. Or
That is
lieutenant or whatever he
That's
was.
true.
Measly sergeants.
What's that?
I said easily infiltrated measly sergeants.
Yeah, right. So, all right. I want to give one last plug to the Crit Academy. Please consider watching us this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking Monsters of the Multiverse. Please come join us. I want to give a special thank you to my awesome crew here. It's really a blast, and I've got something super excited. Excuse me. I would like, just to better prepare me, ask you, which direction path do you think you guys are going to follow? If you, Ian's got the book there.
Yep. I know, like I said, Merle does want to work on his research. But like I said, he probably feels like on some level he owes the Duke one.
Yeah,
So-
we all kind of do. So
And like I
Echo
said,
doesn't.
he would view it as a stabilizing
Yeah.
agent for El Terrell, if anything, at least for leadership.
But
Yeah.
actually, getting the Duke might expedite
Expedite.
things that Zorax doesn't know about yet.
Yeah.
oh, that's not good. Unfortunately,
All right.
Zorax is not in the know for a lot of things.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
All
guess
right, well-
also for and I guess this would be something for our viewers to know as well, is that because this is a problem we actually came up to, we need to figure out like I don't want to call it like a win condition, but like a condition to give us that, aha, now we know this knowledge that I have had my memory wiped. So I don't know how you're going to go about it. I wish you the best. But
Put that
Like-
in our group chat and
Yeah.
let's brainstorm over it, because honestly, I thought about the mind wipe thing forever ago, but hadn't really considered about how somebody figures out that it's missing.
because obviously like there's going to be like a telltale sign eventually, especially since now I
Mhm.
have a thing that can tell me that, or
Right.
is he already giving me information that's like, hey, that didn't happen. I'm like, no, we met with somebody. But
Yeah, I think we can come up with something, but we'll
Yeah.
brainstorm that together and we will figure it out.
yeah.
Alrighty, everyone. Thanks again for checking us out. I am the Dungeon Master, Total Dumas. I am Justin Hanlon, host and creator of all things D&D. Please come check us out. We did just release Capes and Crooks, a 5th edition superhero RPG. Please head on
Very
over and
fun.
pick that up. It is so much fun, and I'm not just saying that because I was involved in writing it, but actually playing it is a blast. So if you like character creation, it is an amazing character creation setup.
It's a
So,
great a la carte, like cyberpunk kind of setting that you can really get into if
It
you
was
want a more
amazing.
futuristic setting that has just so much like, oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah, well, I would say like
Hi, Austin.
yeah, something I would at least say something with Capes and Crooks is I can see how some people would think on first glance, and I stress first glance that the custom classes that we built, which are, mind you, some of them were based off of the 5th edition classes in the first place, might seem shallow at a glance. But when you realize the fact that basically the rest of the content is open for just about everything, you're like, oh, I have options still. It's just presented in a different way.
Awesome. We'll see
Yeah.
you guys later.
Yep.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. Bye.
See ya.
I think I have a thing here somewhere. Maybe not.
All right.